My wife's alpha boss slipped his hand into my wife's skirt and said, "Leave. She's mine now or face me." Monto man. 10 minutes later, he couldn't walk, stand, or talk. I broke his bones. The lunch that should have been ordinary. I remember the day too clearly to ever forget it. My wife had finally agreed to meet me for lunch near her office. She'd been working late nights, often exhausted, trying to please a boss who demanded too much. She brushed it off, said that's just how corporate life is, but I knew something had been weighing on her. So I thought maybe lunch would help. Just the two of us. No deadlines, no stress, a chance to remind her that outside of office politics and promotions, she still had someone who loved her unconditionally. We met at a quiet bistro downtown, sunlight filtering through wide glass windows. She smiled when she saw me, but it was a tired smile. I reached across the table, touched her hand, and we laughed for a few moments about how awful my tie looked. For 20 minutes, it felt normal, calm, safe. Then he arrived. Bastian Drew, her boss. The kind of man who carried himself like he owned every room he walked into. Expensive watch, perfect hair, that predatory grin that made your skin crawl. He didn't notice me at first. He noticed her. His eyes locked on her like she was an object he had already purchased. The atmosphere shifted instantly. She stiffened, her fork trembling slightly in her hand. I leaned closer and whispered, "What's wrong?" She shook her head, "Nothing. Just eat." But I knew. I turned and saw him walking toward us. He didn't hesitate, didn't respect boundaries. He pulled out a chair at our table like he belonged there. "Kevin," he said, his voice smooth, almost mocking. I didn't realize this was a family outing. I didn't like the way he said my name as if I were disposable. My wife tried to interject. "Bastian, we're in the middle of," but before she could finish, his hand slid onto her shoulder. And then in a single movement, he leaned in close and let his hand trail down her side, fingers slipping beneath the hem of her skirt. "Leave," he said to me, smiling with cruel arrogance. "She's mine now. Or face me, Monto man." The restaurant noise seemed to vanish. No clinking silverware, no chatter, just the sound of my heartbeat and my wife's sharp gasp as she pushed his hand away. The way he laughed like he owned her, like I was just an obstacle to be brushed aside, lit something inside me I didn't even know I had. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping across the floor. My wife's eyes widened, fear flickering in them. Not fear of him, but of what I might do. And in that instant, I realized something. This wasn't just a man crossing a line. This was a predator who thought he could humiliate me, humiliate her, and walk away untouched. He had no idea what was coming. The challenge. Outside, the air between us turned heavy. My wife's face was pale, her lips trembling as if she wanted to say don't, but couldn't form the words. Bastian smirked, brushing off her shove like it was a joke. "Relax, sweetheart," he said, his voice dripping arrogance.